signing ceremony for enhanced internship participation. I'm Josephine Laford, your host for this morning. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone, including Mr. Ong Yi Kang, Acting Minister for Education, Higher Education and Skills, and Senior Minister of State for the Ministry of Defence, for taking time to be here with us this morning. To start off the proceeding, it's my pleasure to invite the Minister to deliver his opening address. Minister, please.
I didn't have a chance to rest. Mr. Bob Tan, Chairman of ITE, Mr. Bruce Bo, Director and CEO of ITE, Board of Directors of ITE, industry partners who are here in full force today, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning. Today is, I thought, a very significant event where we are witnessing ITE signing a collaboration partnership with so many employers to enhance the internship for IT students. All this, these days, whatever we do now, we say is part of Skills Future. So today, I will also declare that this is part of Skills Future. It is a movement, and by nature, a movement is embracing, and many things can come under it. And what it really means, Skills Future, is, if I were to summarize, is three things. It's not just about the pursuit of education and training, but it's also about the pursuit of a person's aspiration and passion. So not just about studying, not about a study book, but about pursuing your passion. What do you want to do in life or your whole life? Second, it's not just about learning during your youthful years in school, but learning your whole life. So that throughout your whole life, you're always adding and deepening your skills in the particular field. And thirdly, it is not just about achieving paper qualifications, and I think there's nothing wrong with that. But it's also about achieving skills mastery. And it's really, you need your whole life before you can reach that level of accomplishment, where you're really a master and a master craftsman. So that, to me, are the three essence of Skills Future. If I were to describe Skills Future, this is what it is. But we need to also acknowledge, for a young person to learn, there are diverse pathways, and we have to cater to that diverse pathways. We have traditionally looked at learning in our entire education and school system in terms of PET and CET, pre-employment training and continuous education and training. And I think this age differentiation for learning is increasingly obsolete, because learning inherently is lifelong. I feel that it is more relevant when we look at learning pathway. One extreme is knowledge, the other extreme is skills. And let me paint two extremes. The extreme of knowledge, I think Einstein has a quote that quite aptly describes that pursuit. And Einstein, he once said, I don't have any special talent. I only have a passion for curiosity. And so that described very well the mindset of an academic, a pure academic institution. And to them, it's about pursuit of that knowledge. It is less about what the industry thinks. It is really about we pursue that knowledge, we seek breakthroughs, we are curious about things, and when we achieve breakthroughs, it changes the world. And they are sometimes right, and often right, actually. And that also explains why, in a pure academic qualification, doing research is so important. Publication is so important, and achieve tenureship through publication and research is so important, and you rise to the top because of that, because of the pursuit of knowledge. On the other extreme, you have another quote by another very wise man called Confucius, who say, let me recall what he said, I learn and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. So, in the words of Confucius, it's important for you to do. If you don't do, it doesn't mean anything. And so therefore, we also hear people say, I come from the University of Life, which means I learn by doing. And therefore, that is the other extreme where it's quite competency-based. And when you look at our SCF training, it's absolutely competency-based. All our boys and men, we all went through it. Typical SCF training, instructor will show you how to do. After that, you do. And you do wrongly, you get punished. And you do again until you pass, and then that's it. very little theory and how the gun works and how the fire trajectory and everything. Maybe a little bit of that, but mostly it's about doing. And that is the other extreme of competency-based training. And in between, you have a spectrum. Recently, I heard from a professor in Baden-Württemberg from Germany. He was visiting Singapore, and he had another quote. It's neither Einstein or Confucius, but it's the only quote I could remember, where his position is somewhere in between, where they say, and he runs a technology university. He said, whatever we do, we must be addressing industry needs, or we deliver our courses from the eyes of the student. So I think that's the in-between position. You have to cater to industry need, or you deliver from the eyes of the student who has curiosity, who wants to learn knowledge more than just doing. And so this is the spectrum. And I would say we must embrace the entire spectrum, because aspiration by nature is diverse. But for ITE, and based on the history of ITE and the DNA of ITE is clearly anchored in the space of doing, competency, and serving the industry, and less about R&D, breakthrough, and scientific knowledge accumulation. So this is where ITE stands, and that's why we are here today. In February this year, ITE launched a strategic roadmap. It's called ITE Trailblazer. It's a 5-year roadmap, and it's charged out the strategic plan for ITE in the next 5 years. And the enhanced internship is an important component of this strategic partnership. Internship is very important when you start to anchor yourself in the space of addressing industry needs. Because it is through internship that the student do not just learn, not just hear, but they also do not just see, but they actually do. And that's when they start to experience the university of life. They start to understand the vocation that they want to go into, and they start to cultivate their passion. They start to see role models within their industry and say, I want to be that, just like my mentor. I want to be just like that boss. And so internship is absolutely important in this education, this type of education in ITE. And with the enhanced internship program, I was told it will be even more structured. Outcomes will be measured. There will be mentors ensured for every student going for internship. So as at 2016, 58 of ITE courses, which represents 63% of ITE courses in business and services, engineering, infocom, technology, electronics, design and media, hospitality, applied science, applied and health sciences, they will offer enhanced internship. By 2020, 100% of all ITE courses will have enhanced internship with duration of 3 to 6 months. Of course, all this is possible because of all the support from the industry partners, including those in this room. Today, ITE has 370 partnerships with different companies. And today, we have about 150 with us today. Over 100 companies are present here today to sign the enhanced internship agreements. So, on behalf of ITE, I would like to thank you all for a strong endorsement of the efforts to nurture our next generation of skilled Singaporeans, for your commitment and your contribution to help ITE to become an institute of excellence for our young people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. May I request for you to remain. Ladies and gentlemen, may we have the signatories from the following companies, please, in no particular order. These are companies: Aerospace Component Engineering Services Private Limited, Jovan Engineering Private Limited, Kan Fuk Singh Motor Workshop, Alexandra Health System, Hitachi Elevator Asia Private Limited, NTUC FairPrice Cooperative Limited, Lim Tan Motor Private Limited, Miao Services Private Limited, VDL Enabling Technologies Group Private Limited, Yakin Plastic Industry Private Limited, Own Days Singapore Private Limited, ThyssenKrupp Elevator Singapore Private Limited. Crowne Plaza Changi Airport, SETS Limited, V Hotel Management Private Limited, Univac Precision Engineering Private Limited, Soltevan Singapore Private Limited, Sharp Precision Engineering Private Limited, Perfect Team Engineering Private Limited, Woodlands Transport, Tower Transit Singapore Private Limited, Tech Offshore Marine Private Limited, Penguin International Limited, RSP Architects, Planners and Engineers Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, you may now sign the agreement. May I request for all signatories to smile for the cameras? We have to capture something like this. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Before you return to your seats, please leave the signing pens and the folders on the table. My colleagues will collect them on your behalf. Thank you very much. Johnson Controls Private Limited, Hard Rock Cafe Private Limited, Easy Talent Center Private Limited, KH Lift and Elevator Private Limited, Paradise Group Holdings Private Limited, Unistrong Technology Private Limited, DTZ Facilities and Engineering Private Limited, Virtual HR Private Limited, Euro Group Private Limited, The Scarlet Hotel Private Limited, Tractors Singapore Limited, Pont Group Private Limited, SBS Transit, Comfort Delro Engineering Private Limited, Vicom Limited, also Group Restaurants, Terrain International Private Limited, Shimano Private Limited, Boo & Boo Precision Industries Private Limited, Sunningdale Precision Industries Limited, Urban Hair by Gingrich, Sunningdale Tech Limited, Omni Mode Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, you may now sign on the agreement. May I request you to pose for the photographs once again? Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. EBA Private Limited, Elite Technology International Private Limited, Gold Bell Engineering Private Limited, Data Video Technologies Private Limited, Fraser Centerpoint Limited, Dynamo Precision Private Limited, Aztec Engineering Private Limited, Mossad Services Private Limited, Handshake Foods Private Limited, Certis Cisco Security Private Limited, BizLink Center Singapore Limited, SMRT, 3B Contractor Private Limited, OCBC Bank Corporation Limited, The Fullerton Hotel, Uniqlo Singapore Private Limited, Peninsula Excelsior Hotel Private Limited, Pan Pacific Singapore, PLC Industries, 12 Cupcakes Private Limited, Scania Singapore Private Limited, Ocean Master Engineering Private Limited, UEMS Solutions Private Limited. Thank you for your patience. Ladies and gentlemen, may I invite you to sign on the agreement. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request for you to pose for the cameras again. Thank you, ladies. PSA Marine, Holiday Inn, Singapore Atrium, YCH Group Private Limited, TUV SUV, sorry I repeat, TUV SUD PSB Private Limited, Ramada and Days Hotel Singapore at Songshan Park, The Soup Spoon Private Limited, YHI Cooperation Private Limited, Lezami Holdings Private Limited, Intercontinental Singapore, Sentosa Development Cooperation, Deephalam Keller Aviation Private Limited, Movenpick Heritage Hotel Sentosa, Supersteam Asia Pacific Private Limited, One Berry Technologies Private Limited, VHQ Post Private Limited, Sephora Singapore Private Limited, Karsha Southeast Asia Private Limited, Sunir Precision Engineering Private Limited, Mega Auto Private Limited, Escort International Management, Montreal Private Limited, AIA Singapore, Amara Sanctuary, DV Studio Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, may I invite you to sign on the agreement, please. And it's your turn to pose for the photograph. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Signatories to come up front. We have signatories from the following companies: Esmond Landscape and Horticulture Private Limited, Codeworks Motor Science Private Limited, H&M, Annis and Moritz Private Limited, Selavi Singapore, MAJ Aviation Private Limited, RS Tuning Private Limited, Hotel Jen Tanglin Singapore, Gong Ting Private Limited, Simons Voss Security Technologies Asia Private Limited, Fairmont Singapore and Swissotel B. Stamford, Borneo Motor Singapore Private Limited, Singapore Marriott Tang Plaza Hotel, Home 6 DIY Private Limited, Kashin Group of Companies, Parkland Office Products Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, may I invite you to pen your signatures on the agreement, please. Thank you. Please smile for the cameras. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Minister, Mr. Tan and Mr. Poh, for your patience. And thank you, everyone. And thank you for all the industries participating this morning and all the representatives.